Good morning, and welcome to the show called the CPS: How to Fight It and How to Win. My name is Bob Pace. I'm your host. This is put on by Vincent W. Davis, who is our attorney. His number is 888-888-6582, and we're very fortunate this morning to have a guest. Her name is Lamanda Towner, if I say it correct, and
Yeah, you right.
and she'll go ahead and she'll tell her matter about CPS, and we'll try to help her. Go ahead, Lavanda. Welcome.
I got abused in foster care when I was 7 years old. I got drowned in a bathtub by this lady named Linnell when I was a baby. It was like 7 years old, and then the other time my parents got their rights terminated. And I was in foster care since I was 3. And my parents were good parents. They just had some downfalls, but they never abused us, and we got taken, me and my sister and my brothers.
So, were you originally in a family of biological parents, or you
I
said
was
three? Go ahead.
biological parents when I was um the age up until age 3.
Okay. And what got you from your biological parents into foster care? What got you
Because
there?
they made up lies saying that my parents were drug addicts and very bad people, and they weren't.
So, where you at when you got into foster care? You said the foster care people abused you.
Yeah, I was in and out of foster care up until I was 21. They kept me until I was 21. And then I stayed in foster care till I was 21, got into adult services here in Aurora. But it was a horror story because I was abused and I was also neglected by foster parents. I don't remember all their names, I just remember the ones that did really much damage.
Well, it's sad because you're only age 3, and as a child, you haven't developed anything. I mean, for you to go into this system that foster care is supposed to protect you, and also CPS is supposed to unite you with your biological family. The goals of CPS, and this is one thing that's important for everybody to know out there, isn't to take away children, isn't it's to protect children. And if the parents have hiccups, they can have classes, but the goal is to get the family reunited. Foster care is a last resort, and I'm afraid that some agencies have gone overboard, gone the wrong direction. It's a money making business. They make a lot of money by having people in foster care. So continue now. Now that you've been at 21, during those years from age 3 to 21, what kind of abuse were they doing to you as a when you're in
I'm
foster?
actually now, but when I was 21, I was in a foster home that put me in youth villages, and then they put me in El Pueblo Boys and Girls Ranch that got shut down because of neglect and abuse.
Okay, okay. So did you have any schooling or education during that time?
I wasn't able to because they didn't even put me in school when I was in El Pueblo.
Oh boy, that's so. How did you learn any skills?
I don't. I learned from my host home.
Okay, so
I
where
live in.
you at? Yeah. So are you still in touch with your biological parents?
Yeah, I do. I still have contact with them.
So what is CPS's involvement now?
They're not involved, right? Like, they're involved with my daughter's life a little bit, but because the guardian wanted to make up lies and stuff, and then they have to investigate it just to see if everything's fine. But I haven't done anything wrong, so.
So you started a family, and now your child is being approached by CPS. What are the grounds that they're saying that you did to your child?
So a couple times it was like where someone reported me and I didn't do anything. They just came to my house and looked, and then they were like, "Why is this person reporting?" Because there's nothing.
No, not really.
And that's the story of what my daughter's going
Yeah.
through too.
So how old is your daughter now?
She's 3.
She's three too. So it's
Yeah,
almost like it's repeating itself. First year of
yeah.
three, and then your parents were approached by CPS, and they alleged things, and they took away you, put you in foster care, and to 21, and it hasn't done any good for you. I'm so sorry to hear
No,
that.
really bad uh, post traumatic stress disorder. I have nightmares now
Oh
and
boy,
sleep paralysis because of it.
yeah, yeah. Well, are you living okay? I mean, are you living
Yeah,
okay?
I'm happy and I'm in a good place now. But it's just like I live with the terror, you know. I don't know what to do with it, but you just have to keep going day by day, you know.
Yeah. Have you tried any medical assistance?
I have a therapist, yeah, and I've been working on it with her.
Okay, okay. So you have help and so forth. So, can you tell us more about the CPS that you're involved with? Are they working for you, or what is their plan?
They're right now they're investigating and looking into my ROI. Do you know what an ROI is?
No, I
It's
don't. I never.
records, like when you started and the progress that happens, and so they could figure out if I'm suitable to and healthy for Lavina to be with her.
Okay.
Be,
So, is there a plan to reunite you with your daughter, or is it a plan to have her taken into foster care?
I'm not sure based on that that ROI, but they told me they just got done with the paperwork today, so they should have a court date soon.
Okay, okay, okay. Because um, so they're at the initial probing, or I mean, I'm thinking of the steps, and of course, I'm familiar with California. What state are you in?
Colorado, it's a guardianship thing. So I got manipulated into giving guardianship,
Oh boy.
and yeah, and then I the lady doesn't want to give her back, so I have to go through the courts, and then the guardian ad litem has to write her statement for with my ROI based on the ROI is what when my daughter's going to come back.
Okay. So, do you have any defense attorney at all?
No, I can't afford it. That's the thing.
There's a
I even
retainer fee. Yes, yes. There's a retainer fee.
yeah, but I don't. I can't afford it. That's the thing.
Have you tried with a public defender?
They don't have public defenders for that case. It's a PIA. It's a parental thing. I guess they don't have it for that because they
Huh.
told me they didn't even have one for my case.
Okay, okay. Have you talked to an attorney before about strategies? They usually most attorneys will give you about 30 minutes of their time to help you with
I've
strategy.
tried. Not very many attorneys have time.
Well, we have Vincent Davis who said that he'd give you 30 minutes to talk about strategies to help your case. Um,
I'll be. That's fine. I can schedule it with him if that's okay.
yes, that'd be okay. That would be important there to uh, at least get some ideas of what to do. I mean, he can tell you uh, there must be any kind of free legal help in the area where you live.
There is a lot, but they don't. For some reason, for my case, I'd have to hire a lawyer, not a public defender, because they said the El Paso County Court said that since I'm in Aurora and that this case is not a charge against me, it that means they can't like give you a public defender.
Huh. So what is the charge? I mean,
They're
what specific
hard
charge?
trying to see if I'm fit to be in my kid's life full like all the way because right now she's with her guardian, you know.
So they're at the investigation stage and they're taking forever time to
Yeah,
investigate. Okay, okay. Yeah, it is a very difficult process. It's a very slow process. Um,
that
and
is.
it's really, really, really hard because uh, everybody perceives a different thing. They're so used to maybe children being abused through physical neglect or sexual neglect or not having a safe environment for the child to be brought up in. Now,
Yeah, but we spoil her, so I don't think there's that. There's nothing bad about us. We're loving parents. Me and my husband, are really good parents. We've been told that from multiple people. So
okay, okay, okay. Well, it sounds like you need some strategies
yeah,
um,
I do.
to go through this. Um, when you had your child, at the time you had your child, was there any problems with CPS back then?
No, I have stalkers that like to call CPS on me, but the thing with that is they'll come in and then they'll search and they'll see my house. 'Cause I have nothing to hide. I'm just gonna let them see for themselves, because
Right, right, right.
I have
Well, it
hide.
sounds like you're struggling. I mean, I mean, that's probably people perceive because your house isn't typically what they want to have, but your
It's
house was clean and safe for your child,
yes,
and you had electricity and you had all the utilities going.
even water, food, shelter over our head. No, we don't have roaches or anything.
Yeah, wow, wow. So this is a hard case that you're involved in. It sounds like it's a very so. When you how did you find out about us? How did you find out about us?
I you guys on what's it called, TikTok, and
Okay,
you
okay, okay. And you called in and
no,
that's
I messaged on Facebook though.
oh okay. Yeah, we're on Facebook. You're right.
I
You're right.
guys shows, and
Yeah.
I'm really liking the show because it's true. It's not like that fake fantasy stuff.
No, no, this is very real. I mean, this is live, and there's no prep time or anything in there. I'm trying to help you because I've been involved in a CPS my matter too. It took a couple years in my case, and my whole family was torn apart. I had no problem because I, had a very loving home and I had all the necessities. The only sad part was is that I lost my job, and it's harder when you get older in life to get a job. And so when I lost my job, I, uh, family members tried to get involved and allege things that weren't true. As soon as someone makes a claim, it makes it really bad because uh, they just in our case where I live in California in the Orange County area, it is really, 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 really bad there because they want to keep your child, they want to have your child, and my children were older, they weren't young, and they were in high school, and it's a trauma effect for them be suddenly taken illegally out of school and illegally they made accusations and so forth and it is hard. I know what you're going through, and it's not fair that people make assumptions. They,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, are you taking any parenting classes or doing anything like that, or?
yeah, I want some to eat. But yeah, I don't go through parenting classes right now,
Uh huh.
but I don't have to go eat.
Let's just go, Bird.
What were you saying? Sorry, they distracted me.
Oh, it is all right. I was just wondering if I guess the court CPS hasn't charged you formally. You're trying to get your child back because apparently you were tricked to giving your child up. Is that what
Yeah,
the whole ingest is? And it's hard there. And of course, lack of funding and not able to. maybe get help because it sounds like you and your husband are together and you want to have your family and raise your child. And
Yeah,
it's
I honestly miss her.
yeah, well, this is the thing is that I've heard of stories that everything repeats itself. What you went through at 3 is repeating again, and it's really sad there. Plus, you're struggling in life. It sounds like because you're trying to you know provide your family, take care of your family.
Yes, I really am. I'm trying my hardest. Um I was in a domestic violence relationship a long time ago, around like 5 or 6, 7 years ago,
Right.
and I suffer from PTSD from it.
Okay. Okay. All right. What kind of work do you like to do? What kind of work do you like to do?
I work at the alternative supports, but there it's like you wrap the toilet paper, they make the toilet paper with the machine, and you wrap it.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Okay.
what I
So you're a skilled laborer then,
yeah,
basically. Right. Okay. And is that the job you're doing now, or is that something else you're doing? Or
my current job.
yeah, you're what you are you currently working right now?
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
job. All
Okay.
sports.
Okay. And is your husband working too?
Yeah, he works at alternative supports as well.
Oh, okay. And so this is a place that gets you working. And that's good because a lot of people that are homeless don't want to work.
Yeah, it's for people with disabilities and staff that want to work there. For that don't have disabilities, they can work as staff too.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
they work with SI, and I'm on SI, so it helps. It helps, they work side by side.
Okay. All right. Okay. And imagine it's pretty tough where you at. Is the weather is pretty cold there?
Oh yeah, it snows.
Oh, okay. So you got a lot of snow there and cold, and so that's extra costs to keep warm. So you have to have extra costs there. Well, are there any questions you have for us? I mean, is there anything you
No, not at all right now.
okay? And um, so, do you have any kind of a game plan that you're thinking of? I mean,
I If I can't get her back, my last resort is to see if JT can get her.
your
And
last resort is
so if they don't give her back, I want to at least have her go to one of my family members instead.
okay. Okay, are you still in touch with your mom and dad?
Yeah, I am, but my sister said she'll help me out.
Oh, okay. So you have siblings too.
So I don't think they can legally have her.
Oh, why can't they legally have her?
Well, because they got their rights terminated from me, so it
Okay,
don't.
so you need to reestablish those rights.
Yeah, because they won't I don't think they'll allow them. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, okay. Well, anything's possible. It just you have to work really hard at something. It's most life is not easy and life is not fair. And
True.
we all have expectations, and so I feel for you. I wish I had the golden egg that I could give to you, and that you could rub it, and everything would come true. But it sounds you desperately need a strategy, and this gentleman, Vincent W. Davis, he knows all the strategies there is. He can help you. As I say, he can give you 30 minutes of consultation, and he maybe can steer you in the right direction. Um, I'm just trying to think, do any of your family members have any legal help or legal thing that they know they could have you talk to them? Not to them, but to the legal help?
No, they don't know anyone either.
Okay, okay. I'm just
Because that's
trying
the
to think.
first.
And so the attorneys you contacted, none of them will give you a consultation, or
No, because they all have a lot of cases. I guess they said.
right? Yeah, they do. Some of them do pro bono, but you got to be important that um, you have to research, and you want to get a family trial attorney, somebody with trial background that works in family law that has experience with children. That's the kind of attorney you need to find. So in your search, you would put in there family law attorney, and you want to say family law attorney with CPS, and they will give you a list of them, and you may have to go through this list. If there's 20 people, 10 people, and you may have to contact all of them, and you may have to do follow-up phone calls. It's a very tedious thing, but if you have the time, you can do that. Hopefully, you can. As I say, I have an attorney that will talk to you. You just have to schedule your private consultation. The number is 888-888-6582, and that's Vincent W. Davis.
Is it? It's right there. I didn't see it.
Yes, it is on the bottom part of the screen there. It's 888-888-6582, and the um,
Is
the
there a way you can send it to me too as well?
no, I don't have any mechanisms to send it. Just that.
I
Do you
take a shot
do
of
you
it so right now.
do you have a phone? You can text. You can write it on your phone calendar. If you take your phone,
Yeah, I'll get it. Hold on.
or if you have a piece of paper, you can write it down.
All right. You have paper?
Around the back of that.
I'll write it on the back of this.
Okay, there you there you-
Right.
there you- there you go.
Okay, it's 888.
Yeah, it's 888-888, and then another 888, and then 6582, 6582.
All right, I got it.
And the name is Vincent W. Davis. Vincent W. Davis is the
All
law
right.
firm. And there's also a um, uh, a website that you can go to that checks up the calendar, so that way you can see the 30-minute time frame that he has. It's the HTTPS // calendar calendly.com/apptsvwd. And I'll give it to you again.
Can you write that down?
Yes, here will come up again. It's HTTPS / then
Hold on. I can
C.
get the.
Okay, we may have to do this several times, but that's all right.
All right,
It's
that works. I'll do it
okay.
different time.
Yeah, it's um, TP / That's just to get you on the internet web, the World Wide Web. And
Oh, now it's
then
at the
after
bottom.
that, you do the / at the bottom, and then CALENDLY.com /APPTSVWD. That is Vincent W. Davis, but that's the master calendar.
Okay, thank
That
you.
way, that would really help you decide uh, what you want to get. Is there anything you can share? You see, how old, when you were adopted by foster care at age 3, what were your foster parents doing? They didn't provide you any schooling or education?
They did, but like when I got into those treatment facilities, they weren't like making the kids go to school. So at
Was
11th
this a
grade,
group? Was this a group foster care? Was this group foster care, group home?
it was a treatment facility level 4.
Okay, so I have no idea what a treatment facility level 4 means, but where as a baby at 3, was there something that, why do you have to be treated?
Because I have mental disabilities, and I guess that some of the foster moms and people couldn't handle it. I don't know.
this is very new to me because when I talk to someone, you sound very intelligent. You talk about a marriage, you talk about a husband, you talk about a child. It's amazing that you grow up at age 3 to, um, I guess you're still in your 20s, right?
No, I'm 30 now. I'll be 31
Okay, you're
March
30.
1st.
All right, so you've been around for 30 years, and 3 of them were with your biological parents, and then there was probably a time like when you were a teenager. Were you still in foster care?
Yes. I was
Okay,
up
so
in I was 21, in and out of foster homes. I was like in 100
really,
foster. No one
so there was
ever like cared
shuttling
about.
shuttling you around. No one shuttled around, and then you had relationships with other people trying to look for that love. I know that what you were trying to do. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's really it's not fair to a child at 3 to have to be brought up in a system like you've been brought up in, and it's something that needs to be explored and needs to help out and reach out because we need to take care of our people out there. There's so many people out there that need help, and so um,
right.
I again, you can't fix the world, but you can at least try to help other people by listening. You have to be a good listener, and
True.
it sounds like a lot of the professional people don't know how to listen. And yes, their hands are probably tied. They don't have the funding and so forth and stuff like that. And here we are, we're helping out the world and making the world safe, but our own people in our own country need to be helped too. We need to take care of our people. Everybody wants to come here, so it must be because of something. I
Yeah.
don't know, but it's like that. So at age 21, what made you stop with the CPS? They just no longer wanted to work with you at age 21. What transpired then?
We equipped for society. It's like more
They,
money in their pocket, I guess.
oh,
As
okay.
long as
So
they
yeah, that's something that the funding. Sometimes I wonder if the funds are being used legitimately or not. But anyway, that's
just you can ask him.
yeah, yeah. Um, so at age 21, now you're 10 years later. Did you have your child when you're in your 20s or 30s? Or, I mean,
I waited until I was married, but I had her in 2020.
oh, okay, during the COVID. Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems like a lot of babies were born in COVID because everybody had to live together. We couldn't be out and around, so it's just everybody cuddled up and had babies. So there's a lot of babies born in
And
2020.
she was planned. I had everything I needed for her.
Oh, okay. So you even thought it out. You even thought, well, okay, I have the things to have a baby, and unfortunately, it hasn't worked out for you, and so
Yeah.
forth. Yeah. Okay. Um, Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or anything else I can help you with? Any questions?
No.
Okay. Well, you are going to contact Vincent W. Davis and try to get some
Yeah.
strategies. He's a good lawyer. He's a trial lawyer. He knows it all. He does a lot of fighting cases around the country. Um, you know, but it is a financial burden to a lot of people to hire an attorney, and I know it's really hard because but he has multiple cases. He's really extremely busy. He tries to help out a lot of people. He tries to help out a lot of people and so forth.
Oh. Okay. That's good.
Okay, so it's just I'm sorry. Is that your husband in the background?
Yeah.
Yes. Hello, husband. Yeah. Well, thank you both for sharing the story. Um, and is there anything your husband like to talk about? Are we still connected?
No,
Oh,
he's
yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Understood. Well, if there's nothing else you'd like to talk about, we can go ahead and you can um, continue to listen to me talk. If
no.
you Okay, well, thank you so much, Labanda, and for sharing the story with us. Thank you.
Real quick.
There we go. All right. Um, uh, that was a very heart wrenching experience because the person that we're talking to was involved in CPS at age 3. And you can imagine any child at age developing skills and so forth. And in the system, it sounds like the system kept her alive, but I don't know if they prepared her for adulthood or what they had to do there. It really is a hard thing. Again, my this is Bob Pace, and I'm talking about CPS, Child Protection Services, which is a branch of social services. Every city, every state, every county um, has a way of helping out um, protecting our children. It's very, very important because a lot of people may not know uh, the steps. And I'm only speaking of California. The first step is reporting phase. Now, this reporting phase in is the children are supposed to be protected from it being in danger. And school teachers and doctors and other professionals are required by law to report any thing that may endanger a child. Now, they don't necessarily be true or not, and there's various reasons why sometimes people call in. I know that we had family members in our case that exaggerated stories and made up stories, and they had alternative motive, and they really ruined our family. I mean, my family was 6 children, a husband and wife, and we were living in a beautiful place in California. And unfortunately, at age 60, I lost my job, and then it was a struggle trying to find another job. And so CPS only got involved because of the family members complaining. The process, this reporting phase, is once they get the note or the phone call or even a letter, they are supposed to investigate. Now, what they do is they'll first try to come out and meet you or try to talk to you and go to your home. You do not want them in your home. You don't want them, uh, talk to you. Then I used to talk to them outside by my car, um, and again, they are probing. They are trying to find out things that are true or not true, and then they have 45 days to do this probing, where they find out if there's these legends are true or not, and then um, they will then come up with a letter that requests something, and the letter could say that we need to meet with you down at the social service office. And you have to be careful because you don't want to take your children because they're very tricky. CPS. Sad to say that the CPSs that I've been involved in, um, you know, they're somewhat semi-professional, but the workers I've dealt with are very young and lack a really a training. Some are not married, some are not family people, and here they are supposed to be authoritative to work with your cases, and um, they take advantage of people that are maybe in hard times. That's one of the hardest things that we have in society right now. The United States, yes, it is a very wealthy country, but there's still a lot of people that are homeless, and we're inundated with more people in our country than we have been in the past. And so the court systems are full, and the attorneys are so busy dealing with all this matter. Um, the um, After the probing and so forth, in my case, um, how they got further involved with me is one day I was picking up my young son um, and picking him up at school. And since I wasn't working at the moment, I was able to do so. Well, their mother stayed at home and took care of the home, and she had some uh, physical disabilities that she had to address. And then the other two children were in junior school and high school, so I had my hands cut out, driving to three different places to my children. But I was also responsible. Well, what happened was is that the um, Child Protection Services wasn't getting involved, um, wasn't very successful in meeting with me, so they got the police department involved, and they made allegations that weren't true. And again, the police department responded. Um, and the police department in the area I live isn't the finest police department. It's sad, but a lot of good officers, but a lot of bad officers. And it's a very wealthy city that we live in. And we're in the highest income you can be in Orange County. But the um, detective that was involved in followed me in an unmarked car, and he followed me for quite a while. It was really interesting. I was going to pick up my wife, who's getting her hair done, and so eventually he somehow radioed a black and white officer to pull me over, and um, of course I stopped because I didn't know what he wanted. I said, "How can I help you?" And he says that you didn't stop at that stop sign long enough. And I said, "Well, I usually count to three, and I think I did stop." And he says, "Well, there's a guy behind you that reported it, and I guess it was the detective. So they were using treachery, whatever you want to call, to get me to meet with social services." And I wish I had known an attorney that time, and because I would have given an attorney, and he would have told me what to do. I was limited with my funds, but I had some help, and I had put money away from savings. But I did not know that you need to have an attorney. It's like a doctor. When a doctor, when you are ill, you go and see a doctor. You don't try to fix yourself or stitch you up if you got a wound that has to be healed, or you got a sickness you can't figure out. You do try to do that. So you need to see a doctor. And the same thing goes with legal matter. Legal matter is very important. It's just like, the analogy is, if there's something wrong with you, you need to get a doctor. Well, if there's something wrong with you, you need to, the legal matter, you need to get a lawyer. And I wish I had known about that, because my case would have maybe turned out a lot different, and my family would still be together. But when this undercover detective came up to me, he said that there's been reports, and I said, "Well, I don't know what you're talking about." He says, "Well, you need to immediately follow me back to your home." This is really strange. I said, "My wife needs to be picked up. She's stranded, and we only had one car, and we had a limited amount of funds for fuel." So, but he insisted that not my wife, which seemed awful strange to me. I regret that, but I did not know, and I had my young son with me. I did not know what to do. I thought the police, I thought CPS, I thought social services are professional people, and their goal is to unite and keep the family together while they go through the allegations. But this wasn't the case in my case. It was a horrific nightmare, and I still am suffering from it. Even though our case lasted 2 years, 3 years it lasted. It's now been uh, 9 years since all transpired, and my family is well broken apart. We'll talk about that, but um, um, it's nothing but my life has gotten worse. I mean, I had a decent job, over a six-digit figure job. We always had food. We had nice things. We had things like Disneyland passes, and those are not cheap. And we travel. We had things there. On my side of the family, I had good family members. The sad part is that I had bad family members on my wife's side, and she didn't really realize that till later in life. That they were very upset that their daughter was taken away and married, and and started a life of her own. She was 28 at the time I met her, so she needed to get out and stuff. And she had a daughter that she had by another relationship, and a son that unfortunately was through a rape, and she believed in life and not to terminate children. So she has two children that she could have easily terminated. And sadly to say, today they don't even talk to us now because of the CPS matter. It made our family worse. I mean, it really was really something that get involved, and you see the dark side of families, which is sad. But I guess there's competition, and there's a lot of allegations and lying and so forth. And as I always tell people, I feel like Alice in Wonderland. I went down a rabbit hole, and I don't know where I'm at or what I'm doing in here. Fortunately, working for Vincent W. Davis, who is a trial attorney, who is a family law attorney, and has experience working with children. And again, he can be reached at 888-888-6582. The number is on the lower part of the screen on the right hand side. And I'm Bob Pace. I'm here to talk about how to fight CPS and win. And we have a website that you can look at and check his availability. He'll give up to a 30-minute consultation. Um, and the website is right at the bottom of the screen as it scrolls through there. And so you can contact that way. Going back to my case, I went back with the detective, and I followed him in his. I remember the car; it was a green car. I don't know if it was his car or some car they used, but we followed back, and when we parked, I said, "What is the matter?" And he says, "Well, there's reports, and these people want to talk to you." So he stood by, and suddenly I had three or four police officers present, and in front of my home. This is a private neighborhood. It's a very wealthy neighborhood. I mean, the homes started at 1 million plus, and they're all standing around. And then there's also somebody from code enforcement. They really wanted to have code enforcement involved because they're trying to find something. So they said there's been alleges that you had no electricity, you're not paying for anything. I said I have bills to support everything paid. I showed them the electrical box, and unfortunately, I had to sell my home. And in the process of selling my home, I had people that illegally did things to intimidate me to sell my home at a lower price. And one thing was they came out, the people that got my house came out and cut all the wiring in my electrical box. Cost me $2,500. I got it fixed right away. I think it was only about less than 12 hours. I was without electricity. They also broke the lock on the front door and broke the door open, trying to get in and walk through my home before they're not there. So they illegally entered my home, and these people are allowed to do this. They put stickers on my cars, and they really knew how to intimidate somebody. Their whole purpose was to have my home auctioned and taken, and I was able to let the home go and pay off my mortgage, so I don't have debt to pay off the lenders and so forth. I walked away pretty much with nothing, and I later did a lawsuit. And Vincent Davis helped me with a lawsuit, and they got about $5,000. But then it was later used that 5,000 to pay off the people that got my home, because they said they had to wait till I moved out of the place, and I didn't move out because I was fighting still to have my home. But it's a dramatic effect when you have four, and then you have three social workers, that's seven, and two code enforcement, it's eight, nine, and the fire department. The fire department. It was like they bring out. I said, "What in the world have I done?" And they were making it sound like our children were not taken care of, And so they walked around, and um, what had happened is my parents, one of my dad was dying, my mom wasn't good, and their home up in Santa Barbara. Um, I went and took all their belongings because my sister, who lived over in the islands in Hawaii, wanted some of the things, and it had to be moved out because she was trying to sell the house quick. And so I told her to hang on to the house, we could rent it out. And it never seemed to sink into her. She just wanted to liquidate things, and she's set her own ways. But anyway, I took all the things, and at first I put it on the garage apron, the thing out there where I could fit 3 cars. So I had my parents' belongings and chairs and stuff all neatly stored there with a canvas on top. Well, because you live in a private neighborhood, they have CCRs. They don't allow that. So I had to move the stuff in my house, and then I had boxes, and so you had a clutter effect with their belongings in the house. It was on the porch and outside because there's a lot of things my parents had acquired, and so they were neatly put on stacked up there, but they were approximately 3 feet high. But they said that may endanger and fall on our children. Where our youngest child at the time there was 9, so I don't know how uh, a 9-year-old who was quite tall would be hurt by it, but that's what the only thing is. So they toured the house, and they kept saying the house no one can walk through, but we had something like 15 people in that house at one time going up the stairs with their dirty work boots, trampling dirt and stuff. We take off shoes to go into the house. And unfortunately, with the door broken like it was by those people, it just, and of course, the other thing was their yard was a little bit overgrown. I had no money for paying for a landscaper that I had to take care of my yard, on that matter there. I was 65 at the time, and um, so physically it's okay, but it's a lot of work in there. So, and we had a large yard and a swimming pool in the back and a huge home, modern home. It was built in 1998, so it had all the new things, and it was a beautiful home and a very loving home. And they saw the children's rooms, which were clean, spotless. They saw their beds, and I showed them the bills: electric bill paid, the gas bill paid, the phone bill paid. And as I say, the house didn't need painting or anything, just the front door and then the clutter stuff of my parents' belongings. And again, I'm open up, and I thought, well, maybe they could help us as a family. Maybe they could help us with some type of aid in social services. But instead, the detective was building a report. He was tricking you. You tell them the truth about things, and they twist it around. And then they left after that, and they took our children, and there was no grounds to take our children. Um, that's one of the things that is very confusing to me because the grounds to take a child out of a home um, are very specific. Um, they uh, they have to be where the child is not protected. Um, it's called. There's a family code, and you may want to write this down. It's Family Code 7823. It's called neglect or cruelty, and um, that's the family code. And then underneath 7824, there are things called parents suffering disability to alcohol or controlled abuses or moral depravity. Family Code 7825. Parents convicted of felony, considered a criminal record, or prior felony. None of that was our case. We had no drugs. We had no alcohol. We had none of that, and so um, uh, they were determined to find something. And um, I mean, the thing was, there was no sexual charges at all charged. And again, it was things like, well, you know, there was reports that we didn't provide any utilities, that the children were dirty, that they weren't taken to school, and that the school acknowledged they were taken to school. Um, so, with that being said, um, I really, and again, I did not know the what I know now. If I knew what I knew now, uh, I would still have my family together. And I keep talking to my family. Right now, the two boys are with us, but our other four children are not. And um, uh, two of them are quite older. One's at 25 and one's at um, 42. So they weren't with us at the time all this was going down, um, when all this was coming down. Um, So, I was sitting there after I know the fact because they say, is a child physically injured other than by accident matters? And that's the area that you want to talk about. Physically injured, meaning was there abuse? For instance, was there willful cruelty, like maybe excessive corporate punishment, or maybe I've heard of stories where parents will burn kids with cigarettes. I've heard of parents putting scalding hot water on children in the bathtub because they're in anger as up there, or lock them up in a room for days and without food and stuff. So um, there was no physical injuries to our children. They were healthy. They had medical doctors checked out once a year, and the children later found there was nothing wrong with them. And then the other one is that were they abused or exploited sexually? We live in the number one city in the country for sex traffic or slavery, where they abduct children. And I guess because a lot of the rich parents have beautiful children, and so the unrich parents have beautiful children. But anyway, they I guess there's a lot more freedom in our area we live in. So they take them overseas in containers and then are shipped off to be sex slaves and so forth. But there's nothing abused with our children or exploited sexually. And then there's a thing called neglect, meaning did the parents neglect the child? Were they not taken care of? Were they not dressed? Were they not fed? Did not have shelter? Did not go to school? And so they say, does the parent provided adequate food, clothing, shelter, medical care, or supervision? And so there's nothing there. So those are the reasons that they could take your child or vote a case in there. We had family members on my wife's side report things that weren't true, and um, that's where it started. I mean, um, the only thing they could come up with um, was that they felt that the home wasn't safe because of the boxes. And so they felt it wasn't safe. And of course, there was all these other stories in there. The detective came back later with me and interviewed me and talked like that, and he didn't ask to see my computer or ask and see what may be going on there. He didn't mention anything about sexually, but when he turned his report on, it automatically went to the district attorney, not the city attorney, who did a prosecution, and they charged both of us civilly with a misdemeanor of willful neglect, I guess it is, because of the boxes. And then they said 3 counts of sexual exploitation, but they never described what it was. I later found out that's a ploy they use to scare the parents, and so they use it as a bargain chip to drop the case. Hopefully, you will settle. What they wanted to do, they wanted to make money off this, and the whole thing is about money. It's so proven in our case. They knew I had a very rich home, and I had some money I had put away, savings is down there. So it was a money making thing. And again, you had the social services that had a Taj Mahal of a building. I mean, the building was state of the art, and it was unnecessary. Social service should have a good place to work, good environment, but they don't need to be in the most expensive looking um, place that you have. And so, um, that being said, is that as long as the children involved, they can make money. They get money from federal government and the state government, and they finance all their endeavors. And I met with the top of the of CPS. Um, he was a gentleman who wasn't well educated, that had this role, but he could care less. And he would take his time and say, go talk to the supervisor. And supervisor one says, talk to supervisor two. It's a round robin thing. You are helpless in the system in CPS. CPS is a nightmare that a lot of parents have gone through. I've heard the same thing in the counties surrounding where I live and across the states. One place was the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota, where children are abducted, and they're not supposed to be, because the Indians, if you're a registered Indian, you have a thing that will protect you. The tribe takes care of their own. The tribe takes care of their own. When you're on the Indian reservation, the tribe takes care of their own, or if you're registered with that tribe, they take care of their own. They're their own responsibility. The Native American Indians in North America are protected. There's an act of it that it protects them, and that they still have autonomy. That's why they can have casinos on their land and generate money, because the federal government can't touch them. And it's an interesting thing. That's a whole digress. But back to my case, I'm trapped. I'm trapped in a world that really, as I say, I'm um, Alice in Wonderland in the rabbit hole. And so I finally met my attorney, Vincent W. Davis, and he is a remarkable attorney because he's a trial attorney. He has experience doing trials. And in the court systems, you don't go in there. It isn't done by a jury. It's pretty much done by the attorneys, the court clerks, and then the judge. I'm afraid to tell you the judges are elected, and the judges that are in there are terrible judges. The judge I had knew nothing more about children. He only had experience in damage claims with car accidents. So here he was trying to judge my life, my future, my wife. My wife and I were just devastated. She was so lost about things that she she and I were just we were helpless. And unfortunately, I didn't have the money that I really needed. If I had the money, again, my family would not be destroyed as it is to today. And that's the hard part. As you get older, and I'm 74 now, um, and as you get older, it gets harder in life to find work, to still be working. I know our president candidates are older than me, but it seems like society thinks it's only geared for young people, and that when you get too old, yes, a lot of old people can't work, but I'm physically fit, and I don't feel that old, um, and I certainly don't act that old, and so forth there. But um, it is a struggle. So for all you that are out there right now, because we've only got a minute left of this time frame of the show, I hope you all will call in. The number is 888-888-6582. That's Vincent W. Davis. And call in that you want to speak about your case, and that I will try to help you fight CPS and win. And Vincent will do a consultation and help you out for 30 minutes and help you out with strategies. He'll help you out with strategies, what you need to do. And if you ever get involved with CPS, don't talk. Get an attorney right away. Do not show them anything. Do not discuss anything, because they will twist and turn things against you. And especially if you're going through troubled times. Everybody goes through troubled times. Everybody has hiccups, and there's mechanisms that you can do to get better on it. it is a workable system, but you need, as I say, you need a lawyer, just like you need a doctor. So, with that being said, we had a speaker today that was talk about her case, and again, I'd like to hear yours. So, um, again, thank you for your time, and this is Bob Pace signing off. How to fight CPS and win.